Hello, welcome to this new video. This time I want to continue on different tools that we can use to create word list, and this time we're going to be talking about CUPP, spells CUPP, and CUPP, as you can see here, it's a Python script that you can use to create customized password profilers or customize word list, right? And CUPP stands for Common User Password Profiler. I'm gonna leave the download instructions in the description of the video so you can just go to GitHub and download it. It's super simple. It's a simple tool written on Python. So what can we do with this tool? So basically, if you look at the help menu, you're gonna see that the options are pretty much, I'm not gonna say limited, but it's pretty simple, right? So you have -I that you can use for interactive questions, and that perhaps is gonna be one of the main purposes that, or one of the main options that you're gonna be using. Then you have W to output the content of the tool to a file that you could use in other places. And then you're going to have -L, which is going to give you the option to download created word list, and we're going to go over that. And then you have -A to -A that you can parse default usernames and passwords. V for verbose stat. Oh, show the version. It's not that verbosity. And then Q out to quit. So as I mentioned before, it's super simple. So I'm already in the CUPP directory, because once you install it, you are gonna go back to it. Let me log in back to my computer. So as you could see, I'm here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the first option that I'm gonna use is this -L to see the word lists that are already created. So if you do Python 3 CUPP -L, you're gonna see word lists that you can use, right? As you could see, they are categorized as movie, Africans, American, blah blah blah. So it is a nice thing because you could use the word lists that are already created. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but the tool allows you to create specific ones, right? If you want to do that, and we're gonna go over that. So for this, as you could see, if I do -L, it's gonna prompt me to for the ID, for the number of the word list that I would like to download. So let's say that I want to do 30 for religion, and then that's gonna do is magic. So if I do ls, you're gonna see that I have dictionaries. That's where these word lists are gonna be saved to. So if I do see the dictionaries, and then I see right here, I already downloaded the American, and this is the religion. If I go to religion, you're gonna see that you're gonna have more lists, or you're gonna have the list, or you're gonna have to unzip, right? So for instance, let me go to the American one, and in here I decompressed the downloaded word list, and as you could see, I have multiple word lists that I can use. The only thing I don't like about this is that they're not categorized. You have American, but it could be anything, right? And also you can, like out of this, you can create one word list if you want, but it's going to be huge. So having these different word lists is a good thing, because you can concentrate your efforts in one specific list, and that's going to make the assessment or the audit or the testing that you're doing go faster, because the list is going to be smaller. But at the same time, if it doesn't work, then you have to switch and use other lists. And right here, if I do cat length 03, for instance, you're gonna see what did I do here? I did me just do it again. So you're gonna see the what's included in that word list. If I do, for instance, 9, you're gonna see it in there. So you'll get the concept, right? It's a good thing that you can use a pre-created word list, but at the same time you may want to use others, or you may want to use more accurate list. I have created a video in the past where we talked about lists that have been created by compromised accounts, and you might want to look into it because it may be more useful to you, again depending on what you are looking to do. So let's do a couple of things right here. So let's do CUPP. And as I mentioned before, the one of the main options that you're going to use, or the main options, is going to be -I. That is going to be interactive, right? So I'm going to hit enter. And as you can see right here, the system is going to walk you through a series of questions, and the lists are going to be created based on the answers that you provide. So as anything else in cybersecurity or network security, especially when you're dealing with password testings and hashes and password hashes, so on and so forth, it's better if you do some type of social engineering before you go, before you go into the engagement, right? If you know that you are performing some type of assessment related to the healthcare industry, maybe you want to concentrate on that, or things like that. So you have to know your target. The more information you know about the target, the better your chances are going to be to come up or find out what a credential is going to be for that user. So let me go in here. Let's just go through it. First name, let's say that the first name is Pedro, right? So we're going to do Pedro. The last name is going to be Juancho. Nickname, if the user has one, we're going to call it Rocket. And then, as you could see here, it's going to prompt you for the birth of date. You may be thinking, why is it prompting for all this information? Because it's going to try to create a password based on that information. And not for nothing, historically speaking, we use common information for passwords, right? So let's say that this person was born in 1900 or 1960. Or 1996, whatever. Oh, okay, so we have to specify, as you could see here, day, month, and year. So we're gonna say 1960. Partners' names, and again, this is very common for people to include their partner's name, their pet's name, as part of the password. However, I must confess that mentality has been shifting over the past couple of years, when users have become more educated in the best ways to create a password, right? And it's been around. There's a term that has been around since forever. It's not just password, but passphrase. So instead of creating one word for a password, people can use a phrase, even with spaces, as the authentication mechanism. That's going to be the password. So pet's name, say Bolt, right? Partner's name, Hannah. Birthday, let's say that is 12/31/1970, and then so on and so forth. And you get the concept. You don't have to answer all these questions, but you get the concept of what it's going to be doing. Now, the more information you provide, of course, the bigger the list and the more options you are going to have. Do you want to add some keywords to the victims? I'm going to say no, because I want to get through this. Special characters, I'm going to say no, because I want to get through this, but you can say yes, and that's going to create a list with special characters. Random numbers, no, no random numbers. Again, you have to know about your target, and believe it or not, it's gonna be like a lot of social engineering involved in this. That's why um, I am from the school that you gotta keep your information, your private information, private. Probably because of my generation. It's not that I'm that old, but I remember that I grew up when I was like in my teens. We didn't have Facebook, so that concept of sharing my information is not something that I have embraced. And this is one of the reasons, right? Like, you have people going out there, like hackers performing social engineering, cyber criminals going into your social account, seeing who your partner is, who you are married to, your pets, things like that. So now you're going to have an idea. Now this supports lead mode, and that is a hacker sort of language that it's gonna substitute letters and words. It's kind of like a hacker's encryption game, not technical encryption, but replacing words and letters. So I'm gonna say no to this. And then hyperspeed prints, I'm gonna say yes. And as you could see right here, based on the um, supplied information, it's gonna create this list with this amount of words in the list. So I'm gonna say yes. And that is creating that list based on the criteria that I specify. So I'm gonna pause this video for 1 second. I'm gonna let it run to get past the numbers, and then we'll open the list. Now, as you can see here, it is showing me the options that are being created. It went through the pet's name, through the target name, through the target's partner's name is going through right now, and then it's gonna jump into the child's name, so on and so forth. So I'm gonna terminate this right here. There's no reason to go through that. And let me do this, and as you could see, the list was created. Obviously, I stopped the process. I didn't want the process to complete because this is just for demonstration purposes. But if I do cat pedro.txt, you're gonna see all the word lists or words that were created based on the criteria that I specified. As you could see, you're gonna see it right here. Now, when it comes to password testing and pen test engagements, I rather find the hashes, if I have the option of doing that. And if I'm going to use a word list, I'd rather use a more popular word list, something that perhaps has been a data breach in the past, and there are like these different sites and locations that compiled all these hashes or all these passwords into one word list. And to me, that makes more sense. But if you're doing one specific engagement, right, and you know about the target, if you're doing what is called a spear phishing, right, like a very targeted type of engagements, and you are studying your the target and the person that you wanna carry this type of testing against, then this is a very useful tool. Because what happens when you walk into somebody's office, let's say that you walk into an office of a president or CEO, you could get a lot of clues of things that are valuable to those users. For instance, they may have the diploma hanging on the wall of the school they graduated from. Probably they have a picture of their family in the background, of their pets. So all these are different tools that you can use to come up with a possible password, and that's when this tool comes handy, I would say, when you have more information about the target than just going blank. Lastly, this is all good, but password attacks and password compromise are becoming more and more complex because of MFA. Mostly all corporate environments enforced MFA, right? Multi-factor authentication. So even if you're able to compromise the password, you're not going to be able to sign in. But anyway, that's not the case. Compromising a password is a big achievement, even if that account is protected with MFA. And in that case, if you're successful, you're going to have to find different ways to bypass MFA or use social engineering to bypass that and get into it for your testing or pen testing engagements that you are doing. So I'm going to stop right here. Again, here you have CUPP, which is a very nice, simple to use tool to create customized user passwords and based on profile information. Again, it's another tool in your toolbox. I hope that this information was useful to you, and if you believe it was, why don't you click on the like button, consider subscribing to my channel, and I would appreciate if you leave a nice comment, because we can all get, like, make this world better by appreciating services provided to us. So thank you for watching, and I will talk to you on the next video.